I am on the phone with my sister, who I'm going to show how to run a simple Python program that we just created. I got Python by searching for the version that I needed. First I went to About This Mac, and then I figured out what system I was on, and then downloaded the appropriate Python program. But in order to actually use Python, I go up to the upper right hand corner of my screen to this magnifying glass, and then Spitelock comes up. And so then I type in IDLE, which is the name of the program that I'm actually going to interface with. I have idle docked, and so I will be able to just click on it here and bring it up. There are two windows that display here. One is where I write my program. It's this one that says Python 2.7.8. And the other one is a shell which has a prompt here, and if I print an expression or print a command, it shows up here in this shell window. I have written a program that prompts the user to take a break. And you can set it up for any amount of time. In order to run this, we're going to go up to the idle menu, and we're going to go run. And actually we could check it if we wanted, just to make sure that there were no mistakes, but I know there aren't, and I've already run that, so I'm going to just run the module. Okay. After running it, there's a pause for 3 seconds, and then another window opens after 3 more seconds, and then another window opens after 3 more seconds, and there are a total of 3 that run. Whenever I go back to idle, I see that because this last line, "you've taken 3 breaks," has printed, that we've been successful and that we have achieved reaching the last line of the program. Okay, and so here's how this works. Okay, there's a command line here that opens this web browser window, and it's webbrowser.open, and then we have open parentheses, open quote, and then the URL that I want to open, and closing quote and closing parentheses. Web browser is another little program that's included in this program. We don't have to rewrite it. Web browser is a module, and it's like a little program that's input into the program that comes from the Python library, so that we don't have to rewrite this. It's like an include that we use in HTML or in PHP. Okay, and so we insert this just by calling it. First of all, we have to first import any of these programs in or modules, and then they have functions within them that we're going to use in order to actually complete the task at hand. This particular one is web browser module, and then open is the function, and it's simply going to open the browser window, and it's going to do it after this function. And the reason that this worked too is that we also imported time, just like we include a particular program in other programming languages, calls it from the library. Here we have the module time, and then the function sleep. Now, if I see this programming and I don't know what it is because somebody else has written it, and I just don't know all of the functions that Python actually performs, then I can go to the Python standard library, which is actually something that during the class they told me where it was. I went to the URL, and I have bookmarked it here so that I can find it. And so I am going to time access and conversions. This is the particular module, 16.3. And then I'm going to look up sleep, and I see here, let's see, where is it? this is the particular function here and the description of how it works. And then if we didn't know what this particular number was in here, we see here that it's seconds. Now, my program, I have set the sleep time, or the time that we're going to have a pause before the window opens, to 3 seconds. Okay, but in a real example, this would be a much bigger number, and I would say if I wanted it to be for 1 hour, it would be 60 seconds times 60 minutes times 1, that's going to be 1 hour. Or if I wanted it to be for 2 hours, I could do 60 times 60 times 2. So I can actually put, I don't have to do any math here. I can just enter the equation in here that's going to give me the number of seconds that I actually need, very, very simply, and it will perform that mathematical function for me. Clear?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so now we understand at this point that there's going to be a pause between each window opening, and that we understand how to get a particular window to open.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but what we don't understand yet is how to do a loop and actually get the window to open only the number of times that we want. Okay, we're going to take 3 breaks, so that means that we're going to have a pause, and then the window is going to open, and then a pause, and the window is going to open again, and then a pause, and then the window is going to open again. Okay. So we have defined a variable, total breaks, to equal 3 for 3 windows to open. Okay? We could have defined this anything. It could be total pauses. Okay? And here, for example, but the thing is that if we're going to call this total pauses, whenever we tell the computer later on to call up this number, we're going to need to, let's see, total breaks, that will be total pauses here. Okay, so that just explains that. Okay, the break count is the point at which we're starting. We're starting at, we've had no breaks. We can't count any breaks. And the distance between 0 and 3 is 3 breaks. 0, okay? 1, 2, 3. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there will be 3 breaks. We've got to start with break count being 0, and then we're going to redefine it at the end of this loop that we create here, and the loop is here. It's called a while loop. Okay. We're going to add 1 to it at the end of the loop, so that we know that the break count at the end of the first time that we hit the end of the loop is 1. That's going to be one break has been taken. And by the second time that we do the while loop, it's going to change to 2. And that's because break count equals break count plus 1.
Got it.
Okay, and it just keeps
looping.
It keeps looping, and then whenever that's not true anymore, whenever the while is not true anymore, and the while is established here, break count needs to be less than total pauses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then if at some point break count is equal to 3 and total pauses is equal to 3, then this is no longer true, and because it's no longer true, it goes to else. And this prints in my Python shell window, this particular line, and we exit the loop.
Got it.
Okay.
And to restart the loop?
To restart the loop, we would have to run the program again.
Okay.
Okay. Now, let's say we want to take more pauses, then we'll just add 5. Okay. Or let's say we want our pauses to be only for 1 hour. We'll change this time sleep to 1. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, then.
Complete.
Great. Okay.
Would you like me to teach it back to you now?
Sure.